Ready? Good morning. Well, good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time you're watching this. So, as you guys saw in the last video, there was some clunkadunkas and uggaduggas that was happening still after the transfer case, but this time it was coming from the rear of the car. So what I'm wondering is that if the rear diff is what actually let go and was causing all of the issues, and the transfer case was just not far behind it. Because when I drained the transfer case fluid, that thing was more metal than it was fluid. But it's still entirely possible that it was still technically working, and that the rear end is what actually let go. So we're gonna jack this thing up, drain the fluid, see how that looks, and maybe actually open up the side of it and take a look inside at all the gears and see if that's the issue. And if so, then I guess we need a new rear end as well. I'm hoping that that's the case, because it'll at least be an easy, hey, I know what the problem is. You know, it is what it is. I'm not mad about it still being an issue, because I'd rather fix them both at the same time and not have to worry about one or the other going shortly down the road. So, what, baby? You want to say hi? Say hi? What are you doing? Bring it to Daddy. Over here. Good job, Stinky. Alright, so as I'm doing this, I've noticed that although they were kind of in line, they might have been 90 degrees out. So if you look, the base that bolts onto the drive shaft right there, now that's up and down, a little off-centered, but... And then now the base up and down, and then that side base is up and down. Hopefully that makes sense, so it's not like 90 degrees rotated. I don't know if that would play any sort of relevance, but it was opposite of each other. So I'm gonna tighten this back down, and we're gonna do a quick test drive and see if that's all it was before we go pulling the dash, or before draining diff fluid for no reason potentially. And clearly that didn't fix it. Alright, so you guys probably didn't hear it in the video, but it was definitely still doing the clanking and clacking and clittering and all that. So I didn't think that would be the issue, but figured I'd roll it out. So now we drain El Diffo. For those of you that have never drained the diff fluid before in this, which I haven't either, you got two drain plugs right here. This one is for your AYC ACD shit. That's what that one's for, and this one is your actual differential drain plug. So that's the one we're going to be draining out and taking a look at. Oh, that might have just sliced my fucking arm open. I forgot to crack the fill plug, but it's got some glitter, but it doesn't quite... I haven't seen any sort of metal chunks. Alright, so just a little bit of an update. Grayson's been putting in a lot of work, as you can see. The rear diff looked fine. Front diff drive shaft, everything looks fine. So the last thing that I can really check without taking the whole transfer case back out and, you know, undoing the everything is it's possible one of the intermediate shafts didn't seat all the way. So I'm going to pull all of it back apart in terms of the knuckles on the front, pull the front axles, and then I'm going to try and grab, feel, and try to set them in a little bit more and see if maybe it's one of those having a bunch of play. Don't judge me. She's mocking me. That's what she's doing. So, just to give a little bit of an update, believe I have found the problem. The, fuck. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. The inner shaft. Intermediate shaft. That one. The intermediate shaft is not seated all the way on the driver's side. I'm going to blame him for this one. You know, my technician is really dropping the ball here. See, now he's running away from responsibilities. So, and that's what was causing all of the play and everything. So, I'm running out of time here tonight, but I'm going to be pulling that axle back out, pulling the intermediate shaft out, making sure that there's no damage, reseating it properly and fully, putting it all back together, and then we try all of this all over again. All right, so just to give you guys a bit of an update, I'm pretty stumped and I'm feeling pretty defeated, honestly. I don't know if I bought a fucked up transfer case when it was told to be good. I don't know if I fucked something up. I don't know. It drove pretty much fine other than that clunking and banging, but it didn't drive fine. It didn't. It was all fucked up. But it felt good in the sense that it like went into all gears smoothly. Clutch felt fine. Everything felt fine in that regard. I can't figure it out. I thought maybe the rear end is what actually failed. So I pulled fluid, gray. So I thought that maybe it was the rear diff. So I drained the fluid on that and opened up the little window. Everything looked fine in there from what I can see. The fluid looked clean. It was old and needed to be replaced, but it was clean. There was no metal shavings, no metal chunks, nothing like that. Pulled the front end apart on here. Both of the, pulled both axles. The intermediate or output shafts feel perfectly fine. I can't find anything online, including the FSM, talking about like a play tolerance on how much room they're supposed to have back and forth. They do have a bit of play back and forth, and frankly, I just don't remember when I pulled it if they did have play. I thought it did, and it's not much. It's like maybe an 1/8 inch back and forth, give or take. I thought maybe I just didn't bleed the AYC system enough, so I bled that even more, and that didn't change anything. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty defeated. I don't think I missed anything. I didn't miss any steps. It was pretty cut and dry, all things considered, other than the actual getting the transfer case out. But yeah, everything seemed to have lined up fine. Everything went back in fine. Hopefully it's just something dumb. The other thing I was thinking it could have been is like maybe one of the ABS modules on the wheel. Maybe I fucked one of those up, but none of those appear to be damaged in any way, and I haven't gotten any sort of codes for the ABS module. What's going on, y'all? It's another day. First thing in the morning. Got the little man with me, as usual. As y'all saw in the last clip, I've been pretty stumped. Not sure what the issue is. Everything seems fine. So I reached out on one of the Evo pages on Facebook, asking if anyone's experienced this or, you know, what issues they've had and what the solutions were. And the two main things that were being said was the carrier bearing or the rear diff bushings, which didn't make sense to me. And I never really looked into them because I'm like, there was no issues beforehand. So I never really looked into it, but hey, maybe something happens and it just all happened to God at once or something. Who knows? So I'm going to take a look and check those and see the condition on them. And hopefully that's our problem. Hopefully. So I got to out myself. Pretty embarrassing, and I can't believe I'm going to put this on the internet. I might honestly just cut it out because it's embarrassing. So we haven't found the shaking issue yet. This is unrelated because I noticed where the transmission and the transfer case mate together, there's a little bit of fluid coming down, and I was like, maybe there's just like excess pulled up and then it's like drooling out and whatever. Not a big deal, right? Well, I get a wild hair at my ass and I started looking around and I was like, oh, maybe one of the gaskets is shot, right? So I'm looking through the videos that I had filmed, and this one, from what I can see, looks fine. But the O-ring, on the other hand, notice how I already took it off? There's an O-ring that goes in this slit. I took this one off because that one doesn't have one on it. But yeah, so I need to separate the transfer case. Thankfully, I don't have to pull it all back out, so it won't be too bad. It's just loosen up the 6 bolts, sliding it back, putting an O-ring on, and then sliding it back on. So it shouldn't be too hateful. The only problem is that I turned the car around because I was thinking it was the rear end, so that way the rear end could sit up higher. And now the front end's tore apart up there, and it's a hill right there. So I have even less room to work with, which is going to suck. But it is what it is. Sure is a lot easier when you've already done it once before and broken everything loose. So fun fact, there is supposed to be an O-ring right there. I don't have an O-ring right there. It is right there. Okay, little update for y'all. We got everything back together again. Both sides. We are now ready to add fluids again. So we got these. We got 7585 Mitsubishi genuine shit. That is for the transmission. It takes 2.6 quarts, something like that. I'll put that in the comments below. And then we got LSD gear oil. This is for, one is for the transfer case, one is for the rear diff. I think the rear diff takes almost a full quart and the transfer case takes a little over half a quart, or vice versa. Again, I'll have the exact things in the description below. But now we can go and add fluids, and then I'm gonna throw wheels on. I might try it again and see if maybe miraculously somehow that got fixed. But if not, then I'm gonna have to replace that carrier bearing. And if it's still making that sound, I'm gonna set my phone down there and record the carrier bearing itself to see if I can like confirm that before I go ordering anything. But yeah, the good news too is that when I drained the diff and transmission fluid again, both were clean with no shavings or anything. So we at least know that both of those are healthy. So we've at least got that far. So I don't know if you can see it, but up there, that is your fill plug for the transmission. And according to the FSM, you just fill until it starts dripping. Come down, make sure it's just below the bottom of this to where essentially nothing else is dripping out, and then you're good to go. I may have overfilled her by quite a bit. As I was filling this thing up, I remembered that the transmission, I never technically drained. It was just whatever spilled out of it. So now that the car's level, I'm just letting it, self get to its proper oil level. And I've just accepted the mess. I need to grab something. I don't know where my pan went. Gray, you know where my oil pan went? Oh, I walked right past it. What are you doing? Are you checking yourself out? He really likes to be involved in what I'm doing. What? Oh, yeah? Oh, okay. So, I fully understand that I'm not the brightest human being in the world. But, so one of the things was a light grinding sound. And everyone kept saying, oh, it sounds like a dust shield, dust shield, dust shield. So, as I'm putting the wheel on, I notice I had spun it. And you hear grinding. Right? Now, that's not the thump that we were hearing before. But we do, in fact, have a heat shield hitting. Which doesn't surprise me. It's probably not going to fix the thumping issue. But just something that I found. tired of hearing this thing. You like it? Let it get a little heat in her. And then I'm gonna put you guys under the car so you can, I'm gonna try to get you pointed at those carrier bearings and make sure, see if we can visually confirm that those are what the problem is. Okay, so that doesn't look like it's the issue. But one thing I noticed that this little guy right here was doing earlier, and I caught him, was, you know how he takes all my scrap bolts and extra nuts and bolts and hardware and shit? I noticed him sticking them in my rotors. So I'm almost wondering if there's something lodged into the rotor somewhere, like he stuck something in somewhere it doesn't belong, and it's sitting there like hitting the little fins in the middle of the rotor, or something along those lines. So it sounded like it was coming from the front up here, almost from in the car. In the car, it was extremely loud, whereas in the video, I didn't quite hear it. So I'm thinking it's got to be something brake related. And honestly, kind of like, gotta give credit where it's due, what my old man was saying. See, I mean, that's one of my best guesses right now of quick, stupid, simple shit that it could be. Because transfer case is fine, diff is fine, transmission is fine, it's all the correct parts, everything's installed correctly. I mean, I'm fresh out of ideas other than that. So I guess we'll pull these front wheels back off. I took a quick look at them, but evidently maybe not enough. I wonder if while the wheels are on, if I could see it, maybe it's this heat shield, or this dust shield is really fucking off. Let's turn the wheel and find out. All right, little update. My neighbor just came by. It was actually our first time meeting, and he was helping me by listening to the car. We took all four wheels off and went listening to it, and it's actually coming from the rear. It's right here. You could see where the brakes were sitting on it for a while, right? And I didn't think anything of it because all four had it. And the car was only sitting for like a month and a half, right? But the e-brake was pulled on the rear right here. And when the e-brake is pulled, it's predominantly the rear wheels, not to the front. And when you're applying foot brake pressure, it's primarily to the front, not to the rear. So when I was driving it, the fronts damn near cleared up, but the rears have not. So the theory is that maybe that thumping that I'm hearing is just when it's rotating, it's hitting this patch right here. And when you feel it, it's all smooth, smooth, smooth. And then it gets really rough, smooth, really rough, and then smooth again. So we're thinking that it might just be this right here. So I got some sandpaper and I'm going to sand it all down before just going and, like, my next thing after this is I'm going to pull the e-brake up and just drive with the car in the air and see if that'll help clear it out. So that way it's primarily clear in the rear and not the front. Okay. Yet another day of dealing with this damn car. I think I just loaded up a few clips to you guys showing everything that I have checked with a camera and with a person. I'm trying to identify this sound, right? I got it figured out. My buddy Czar came over last night and he drove it, and we've isolated it towards primarily right here, okay? Now, when he was driving it in the air and I could hear the clunking, I could hear it most through right here, right? So it's something to do within the brakes. So what I'm thinking is where there's a high spot on here, like there it is, from where the e-brake was engaged and sitting there for so long, and with the drastic temperature changes we were having, it warped the rotors a little bit. So I need to pull the rotors off, I'm going to pull both the rears, get them resurfaced, and inspect the calipers. Make sure, get those 100% good, put it all back together, and see what happens. One thing that sucks is the previous owner is not friendly to me. These bolts, I've only touched this one. I had to retighten it back down for when Czar came over and, you know, we were trying to identify it. But anyways, this guy right here, these threads are all sorts of fucked up. And it's gonna fight. It is going to fight the piss out of me. And it's not gonna be fun. So I will just check in with you guys when I get this thing out. All right, so I just got both bolts out and just had to show you guys that this guy has seen better days. All right, we got everything torn apart. There is no threads left in there. So I'll either retap this and upsize or just get a whole new caliper. Haven't quite decided yet. Everything looks okay at face value. Like, I'm not seeing anything jumping out at me that's an issue. The one thing that I noticed is I didn't realize the e-brakes were like internal on the car, if that makes sense. So it hits in here, but you can still see where the pads were sitting on the rotor for that period of time, and you can definitely feel like a rise up right here, but it doesn't seem like enough to cause like a crazy clunking or movement. So I don't know if maybe the axle is shot and like maybe both rears are gone and it's just not showing any sort of signs or what, but yeah, I don't know. Like, they have zero play. They don't move side to side or back and forth or, you know, anything like that. So I don't want to just start throwing parts at this thing if it doesn't need it, but granted, it also wouldn't hurt to go ahead and get some new parts. But yeah, I mean, everything seems okay. You know, the hub's fine. Everything seems fine. So are you ready, Booger? What an exciting day. Hopefully after today we will finally be driving the hoopty, because we got car parts. I'm trying the AirPod out to see if the audio helps a little bit better. Let me know. Well, I guess I'll see it in the editing shit. But, so to give a little recap, when I first did the transfer case, the reason I did was because I heard a bunch of clunking and grinding and funky noises, right? I don't quite remember the exact noises because it was a while ago, but I was hearing some funky shit. So, I decided it's got to be the transfer case. Let's see, does that work? That probably works. Ah, son of a bitch. So, I decided it had to be the transfer case because it was having the death whine for a while, and when I went and drained the fluid after first seeing, you know, after first hearing the noise and it getting really bad, there was more metal than there was fluid. It was bad. I'll load up some pictures up somewhere if I still have them. But anyways, so I just jumped straight to, okay, transfer case is shot, we need to swap it out. Right, so did the transfer case swap, which you guys saw in the last video. Went for a test drive and it's still making these obnoxious and crazy clunks and noises and all that shit, right? The video doesn't quite do it justice, the audio doesn't quite pick it up as much as it is in real life. But anyways, I have gone through everything on this car, which you've probably seen from the first half of the video. I don't know how much I filmed, but regardless, I went through everything. And my last ditch effort is, I think it is the rear axles, because that is the only thing left to possibly check, or last thing it could possibly be. And I had just replaced my front axles because they blew a couple months ago, right? So I figured the fronts went, the rears were probably on their way out too, even though I don't feel any sort of play or wiggling or whatever the noise is, whatever the case is. But regardless, we have new axles, so we're gonna throw those in and see if that fixes the issue. But before we do that, we gotta do the shitty part, which involves these guys right. I always end up pausing, like accidentally clicking the volume button and pausing the fucking video. But anyways, we got to do the shitty stuff, which is tack and die and drill and upsize my upper caliper bolt. I have it just kind of sitting there for right now. I'll take the wheel off and show you, but that thing is stripped. So let's get this side up in the air, get that fixed, and then we'll get this side axle and then drop, lift the other side, and then do that side axle. I'm gonna try to do it one at a time and teeter-totter So hopefully I don't lose any fluid, because I am so tired of dealing with fluid. But without further ado, let's jump into it. All right, so we got the caliper off. Just to show you, I don't know if I showed it previously, but there's supposed to be threads right there, and there ain't much of that left. Instead, they are like melted onto this bolt. So this is useless. Those threads are useless. So I'm gonna drill it out some and bump it up a size. And I had to, I stopped at Harbor Freight, and this was the only kit. These are an M12, by the way, and this was the only kit that had the next size up, which is an M14. So I ended up spending way too much money, but I'm not mad about it. I needed one. Then got a new set of drill bits, because I couldn't remember if I had a 1/2-inch drill bit or not. So I figured better to be safe than sorry. The only problem is that I don't know if I have an M14 bolt, and they didn't have any bolts at Harbor Freight. So I'm hoping somewhere in here has one. The only problem is that this was overflowing about a month ago. And you might be wondering where all of that is. Well, it is scattered through here and scattered through the front yard because of somebody right here. Yeah, you. But it's all good though. Worst case, once mom gets back from the store, or once his mom gets back from the store, I'll be able to run out to Harbor Freight and or not Harbor Freight, to Home Depot or something, and go grab the proper sized bolt. So fingers crossed, we shall see. All right, unfortunately I have no bolts, which sucks, but it is what it is. So we're going to get the axle out, which involves removing this cotter pin, removing the axle nut itself, and then this upper control arm right here. Slide that out. From there, we should be able to pull the knuckle out enough to be able to get the axle out. So another thing to note about me is that my memory is not the best. It is shot. Hit my noggin a lot. But I completely forgot that I had this axle puller. So I've been sitting here beating the shit out of this thing with hammers and 2x4s and everything in between. And then I went, oh, wait a minute. I have this in the garage, which I think it's actually Jake's. But yeah, so we're gonna use it and save us a lot of headache. All right, so just to show you guys how I'm able to break this thing loose, because it has been kicking my ass. I let WD-40 soak in here for a little bit, and you see I finally got it popped out. But this guy just wasn't cutting it by itself. So what I've been doing is applying pressure to it with this, giving that constant pressure, and then whacking the fuck out of it with a hammer. And that got it to break loose. So now it's just inching its way out, little by little. So we got the axle out. Not gonna lie, I don't have high hopes that this is the issue, because these two feel pretty much the exact same. This one actually feels like a lot looser if I move the joints around, whereas this one feels a little stiffer. I don't know. Maybe that is a sign of it being blown. It's honestly just a lack of knowledge thing for me, but we'll still throw these new ones in. It doesn't hurt to replace, I guess. And maybe the passenger side will be worse, but honestly, this thing feels fine. The only indicator is this bit of wetness right here. But even then, this side, I mean, it feels perfectly fine. Okay, little update. I am one bolt away from finishing. At least the driver's side. The passenger side is gonna be fine, probably. I have went to every store looking for an M14 by 1.5 bolt, and nobody carries them, which maybe is my own fault, because I didn't look. I looked online, and I saw that AutoZone had them, so I was like, all right, cool, whatever, right? So get everything done, and then I go to AutoZone to go look for the bolt, and then they don't have it. It's a shipment only fucking thing. And then, though, I go to Lowe's, and then Lowe's just doesn't carry them at all. So then I look online at Home Depot and all the rest of them. Nobody fucking carries them. I thought everyone carried up to M14, not carried up to M12. Go figure, my luck. So, to the previous owner that decided to do that, I don't know if the camera's focusing in on it or not, but to the previous owner who who did that, I just want to give a big old fuck you. Not actually. Kind of actually. You're a dickhead. You're a dick. Okay? Can't say I wouldn't have done the same. So now I have to order it online and wait for it to show up. So that just set the car back 3 more days over 1 bolt. 1 bolt. That's it. And I think that's what frustrates me more than anything, is that literally just one single thing is what's keeping me from finishing the car. In theory, to even just testing to make sure that this fixes it. It might not even fix it. I might still be fucked. But, this is frustrating. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I don't actually hate you, previous owner, but I very strongly dislike you. Okay, it's a new day. Last night did not go very well. Well, I guess it did, in a sense, because, you know, axle's just about done. About to put everything back together. But the, as you saw, I was not having a good time with that whole bolt situation. But that's okay, because we're going to stay positive. It'll be here this weekend. And we're still going to make the most of it. It's finally starting to warm up a bit. And that means it is time for a nice little brewski. You want your brewski? There you go. It's just water. Okay. So where we left off yesterday. Your mother is going to kill me. So where we left off yesterday is got everything pretty much back in place. So what I'm going to do is get the axle nut itself on, get the rotor back on, get the caliper most of the way on with the bolt that works. And then I'm going to put the wheel on so I can drop the car back down and then raise up the other side. And then we're going to do the same thing we did here to that side. And I'm hoping to have everything done today. You know, all praying to the everything. Get everything done today so that tomorrow when I get home, all it is just throwing that bolt in and then hopefully test riding this thing. I had success with angling the car enough to where I didn't lose any fluid out of the diff. So rinse and repeat on that side. And we shouldn't lose anything. Skadoosh. Okay. It's cool while it lasted, I guess. Okay, now that the car's back on the ground, wow, it looks so low right there because of the hill right here. It doesn't show it on camera, but yeah, there's a bit of an incline. But anyways, now the car's back on the ground, we can't do anything with it until tomorrow when I can get that caliper bolt. So, we still have some daylight. So what we're gonna do is get a little bit of a jump start on the next project. Anyways, now that we're at a standstill with this, we can get ahead and you guys are going to get a sneak peek at the next episode because I went and got I got a new project. I got a really good marketplace deal, you know, low balling on Facebook, the usual. And I got me a new little toy. Without further ado, here is your sneak peek. It's a 99 EX Coupe. I think it's a DX, I honestly don't remember. It's got hand crank windows, no AC or anything. But all in all, for 800 bucks, there's a super sick sound system that I'm totally not gonna rip out of here. He is obsessed with anything with a steering wheel. But the reason I got it for so cheap is the clutch needs to be replaced, and it came with a clutch. Because it also needs like a valve cover gasket and everything, and she's pretty grimy, and I need to get all this fuck ass heat wrap off on an NA car. Come on. I'm just now noticing that it's we're missing a header bolt, but oh well, little things. That's what you get with an $800 car. So this will be a new like daily project thing. I plan on using it as like a daily beater and cleaning it up as I drive it. And ideally, what, baby? Oh, okay. So sorry. Not only do they have this questionable wiring, but it wasn't even tight. They did all of this big ass box That little thing right there. This one thing right here is what is keeping us from driving it. Good morning, everyone. It is like 7:50. It's 7:15 in the morning. I'm heading up to Maryland right now. Well, I'm in Maryland, but I'm heading up to a buddy's house to help him move. And I was gonna do like a whole GoPro video setting it up and doing a couple pulls and yada yada yada. But problem is that my GoPro, go figure, decided to take a shit on me. So we're kind of stuck with this. So I'm sorry. There will be GoPro content coming at some point, like POV driving of this car. I just wanted to say that the car is fixed. I'm driving the Evo right now. I've driven it up to DC on Sunday and then driving it up to work and back Monday and Tuesday, and today is now Wednesday. And I'm taking my happy ass all the way up to Maryland. So the car's been doing phenomenal. The transfer case feels great. I've done a couple of pulls. Brakes are good. Everything is good. The car feels way better than what it did before. I don't know if I told y'all this, but do you want to know what the goddamn issue was? This whole time that I was fighting this car, after the transfer case swap, all it was, and this doesn't make sense to me, but hear me out, okay? It was the fucking rotors. The rotors. The car had been sitting for maybe 2 months. Maybe. And that's pushing it. 2 months and the rotors warped that bad. You know? I mean, it is just absolutely insane. I've never had that. I've had a car sit for fucking years and then go to drive it, and as soon as you hit the brakes a couple times, it breaks all that rust off and then you're good to go. So my theory is, me and Ronnie's theory, I should say. Ronnie, I made him drive the car because I'm like, dude, I can't figure it out. It feels like it's the brakes, but it doesn't make sense for it to be because the car had only sat for 2 months. There's no reason for the rotors to be warped that bad. And I had done a bunch of laps around the neighborhood trying to straighten them out and everything. But yeah, so he goes and drives it and he's like, no, this is 100% your fucking brakes, dude. Like, everything feels amazing on the car. It's just your brakes. And I'm like, okay, I guess I know I'm not tweaking. And then we were brainstorming, he was like, well, wait a minute. This thing might have ceramic coated pads. And with ceramic coated pads, they take a while to heat up and to actually, like, you know, really start grinding down the rotor. So I was like, okay, get back in. We're gonna go do some fun shit. And we beat the fuck out of the car. I mean, we beat on this thing. I locked up the brakes a couple times, you know, doing the motions, right? And sure as shit, we get back to the house, and it was nowhere near as bad as what it was. I was like, you have got to be shitting me. I have let this car sit even longer. New axles in the rear, fucking new rear diff fluid, inspecting everything, going through the whole goddamn car. And all it was the goddamn rotors. I mean, what type of shit is that? But regardless, the car's fixed now. I have my car back. It's amazing. I'm happy. One of the things that the car's always done since I bought it was if I went into reverse and the wheel was turned full lock, it would go like, and it felt like the car's about to fall apart. Well, I went looking and there were some tire marks. Well, I shouldn't say since I owned it, but since I lowered it. Maybe it was since I owned it. Lowering it just made it worse. But regardless, I thought it was hitting my fender liner and it was just kind of like binding up on that. Nope, it was the transfer case this whole time. So this thing's been blown since I bought the fucking car. And it just finally fully let go. But regardless, the car feels so much better. I don't have any more death whine, which is so nice. I didn't realize just how irritating it was until I'm now driving at the speed the death whine would be going crazy right now. Nothing. It's so good. It's so nice. But yeah, she's good. She's good to go. So now we can get back to doing the fun shit. I'm hoping to have this video up by the end of this week, maybe early next week. I've planned on ending it with some GoPro video footage and doing some pulls, but I guess I'm just going to be sitting here talking to you. But yeah, so all that chasing down, all that tracking down, everything, all it was the goddamn rotors. That's it. I'm both so pissed and so relieved at the same time. Like I said, regardless, it's fixed now. It's all good. Now we can start playing with the other project, getting the 240 up and going, getting the upholstery work done on that, and then it might be time to turn this thing up some more. It would be nice to get a little more sauce out of this thing. So stay tuned for all of that. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video and the last one of actually doing the transfer case. If you did, you like what you see, and you want to see more of it, please subscribe. You know, give me a like, give me a comment, give me some feedback on what you'd like to see, what I can improve on, you know, all that shit. And until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.